Got a couple holsters to repair. I'm not 100% sure what they're for. But that doesn't matter. We're going to make the repairs. I know that this one has been modified. There's a piece that's missing from up here. It had 2 billets back here that were probably for a shoulder strap. It's been replaced with a belt loop. And this strap is loose. Kind of unfortunate because to repair this strap I have to open up this seam. But the leather's in good shape. Now he sent me another holster where the leather was actually torn right at the stitch line down here. And we're going to leave that one alone. We're not going to mess with it at all. But yeah, so this one is just going to get this strap repaired, but we do have to split the side seam open. This one needs magazine pouch reattached. Should be pretty quick and easy, but we do have to remove a rivet. Now these rivets are just, they're like a single cap rivet. They're not anything real fancy or anything. So I will pop that rivet out and yeah, then we'll fix that. I do have to dome it a little more than what they come domed, but that's okay. I do have the correct size rivets. The ones I have are nickel plated, which these are. This particular one here that we have to take out, the nickel is worn off it. So that's the only real difference. But we'll have to take some stuff apart. I need to remove that rivet and open up this side seam so that I can get to the stitching for the magazine. You can't hardly see nothing. I have to split that side seam so I can get to the stitching for this. There's 2 different colors of thread on here. One is kind of, it's a really more fine thread. I have something pretty close in the color, but mine is a 3-cord, and I probably need something like a 2-cord. We'll see how I do. It should be pretty close match. It's just a tad thicker. I think we'll be okay. The color is really close. Really close. But I'm going to take it, get it opened up. I'm going to do this one first. So I'll get the, I'm going to have to, probably going to have to take this flap off. I don't want to, but it looks like I'm going to have to because I've got to get back in here to get the back off of that rivet. So I'm going to get on this bench and get after it. So in order to get that rivet off, see kind of how it's on there, what I need to do is I just kind of need to take and I'm going to go right in the center of it and I'm going to grind the post out and then we'll pop it apart. To do that, I got this little ball end on my rotary tool, so close your ears. Usually makes pretty short work of it. Ouch, it's hot. And there we go. Rivets out. Once I have all the stitching out, I'm going to clean it. I almost want to restitch some of this other stuff so that I know that it's going to match with the thickness of the thread and stuff. But at the same time, I don't really want to because I don't. It's a lot of extra work. This one even has a cleaning rod with it. Got a pocket in here. So, get this other side seam opened. Now this has a plug in the toe, so we need to stitch that too. Usually I'll do the toe plug separate, and that stitches, it's kind of like a box stitch, so it goes from here through there. And hard to tell. They might have done that separate. If they did, I'm not going to take that thread out. I am going to have to take that toe stitching apart. The best way to do that is one stitch at a time. So here you can see the stitches go through the holster, through here, and then they go up. And this is 2 layers. It doesn't go through this first layer. See if I can put a needle through there quick and show you what I'm talking about. So it just goes through like that, and that's how a box stitch works. Someday I'll have to show you some of these different stitches and how to do them. A box stitch is probably one of the more difficult stitches to do. I have another holster I'm going to do similar to this, which is perfect for putting a toe plug in. So we may do that on one of these. Or I've got a couple of Western holsters coming up. I like to put toe plugs in those, it looks better. Alright, let's not lose our toe plug. Keep it right here with that flap. And finish cleaning up all my thread, and I'll be back. I've got this flap reattached. As I was doing it, I slipped in the post for this rivet. I can't rivet it until I have it together, but I wanted to get that post in there so that I could get the rivet together. So then it'll come, the top will go on, and then the cap will go on. Just like that. Set it with a domed setter. It's not quite a big enough dome, I don't think, but it's the best I can do. And that's going to be it. That'll be it for this one anyway. Still got one more from this customer I got to get done, along with a bunch of other projects that have been sitting here since last summer that I really need to get to, and I really want to get to them. But the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sew the toe in, and I'm going to put the toe in, and I'm going to tie my toe off at the bottom here so that it is separately stitched from the rest. I'll probably go up one stitch, tie it off, and then see what we can do from there. So mag pouch is on, flaps back on. Let's get after the rest of it. We should actually go with more thread. I could start right there, stitch that toe in, and come right back up. Yeah, I think that's the way I'm going to do it. More thread. I don't ever like to run out of thread. So this piece is probably 2.5 feet. This piece is probably 3.5, 4 feet. That's just how I'm going to have to do it. Alright, so I just got my thread in that first hole right in the corner. The next hole is going to go into the toe plug. So we'll go in the next hole. I'll come through my toe plug here. And this first one, I've just got to sneak that in back here and come back out that hole so we got our threads are in the right places here. Take the next hole. You don't ever want to pull these too tight. Because you're dealing with some pretty thin leather. When you're if you're the one that's installing a toe plug, you have to keep in mind your stitches along the outside are going to be wider apart than the stitches on the inside. Makes it kind of interesting when you're going to put in a toe plug. We'll get more into that in another video, but and I have not ever seen a toe plug that was put in by a machine. I'm stitched all the way up now, and I just stuck my needles through on the second hole down. There's a binding stitch over the top here. So I stuck it through there, and it's right behind the rivet, which is exactly where I want it. I'll just tie a square knot in it. And you want to make sure you don't get around the rivet. You want to get over the top of it and behind it. There we go. Make sure that knot is tucked back in there. That there. I'm going to grab a hammer. Now we're going to set that rivet. And I know I got my cap here somewhere. There it is. So with these single cap rivets, you just got the post sticking up. There's a hole in the back here, and we want to set that over the top. And now I gotta find my doming tool. So this doming tool is for, I think, a number 14 rivet and burr. But that's the tool that it takes to do this. And I don't have a choice but to hit on here. So it won't leave any impression on the back here. But I can't get anything metal behind it. So we're just going to set it this way. A couple of light taps just to kind of start it. And one solid hit, and that domes that. Where are you? There you are. Gives it a little bit of a dome, a little more dome than it would normally. Just like these in the back. Perfect. Exactly what I wanted. That's all there is to it. These holes are in kind of weird spots and they're not all lining up, and it's always harder to work inside a holster. And it's just as easy in this case to split the side. I may only go down to here or so, but we'll see. See what it takes. I don't want to go any farther than I have to, but I have to be able to get in there and make things work. Well, it's pretty brittle. That's usually when I am pretty glad that I made that decision. This is what I mean. The thread gets, it's a linen thread, so that doesn't belong in there. And it's being linen, the nature of it. It is a fabric, it's a natural fiber, and that will just kind of do exactly what it's doing here. When it comes apart that easy, and that's threads breaking. So it's going to take me a minute or two to clean the thread out. We'll get on with this. Well, that sure made stitching that strap on a lot easier. I'm just going to start down here. Originally they had a double stitch here, binding that all together, and then just go up around. Pretty simple stuff. Usually like to go through the front first, and I have got like 5 times the length that I need here. I always like to have a little extra, especially when I'm doing something like this, because I don't want to splice. So this is going to go pretty quick. I expect 20 minutes maybe to get that all stitched back up. It's one of those situations where the time involved to do this with the pliers and 2 needles, and it would have just taken me forever. This thread popped apart when I started going at it, and so that let me know that it's compromised anyway. Dirt gets in there, you know, and just age with this linen thread being a natural fiber gets in there and just kind of wreaks havoc with it. And there's much you can do about it. So sometimes it's just better to go ahead and split it and be done with it. Now I had only figured on splitting that down just past where the strap is stitched on, but when it started popping like it did, that kind of made up my mind for me a little bit. So I'm right to where this piece adds in. So I'm just going to hold it there, run a needle through. We're just going to keep going. I wonder if there's a good way to... I wind up with a lot of thread in that hole. Here we go. Alrighty folks, here is number 1, number 2. Both of them are done, all ready to go back to my customer. This one you can see other holes in here. It had a cleaning rod on it. It had a couple of points back here for a shoulder strap. So I don't know what this holster is for. I don't know what either one of them is really for. I think this is for a Mauser. I'm not 100% sure. But the workmanship, these are in good shape to begin with, aside from this one's been modified. So they're well worth repairing. And that's something I tell people, you gotta evaluate it yourself and decide if it's worth repairing. If it's worth it to you. I'm not a collector, and I'm not a collector because I would put value on these, and I'm not going to do that. If I don't know how much the holster costs, I still do the repair appropriately. But yeah, I'm not a collector, and I'm not a collector for those reasons that I don't want to start looking at every holster as a collector piece. I want to look at it as a piece that needs repair. And I do the repairs as authentically as possible, to the point where I have parts that I have to have made. Sometimes I make my own parts. There's just things. So these two, I want to say this is for a Mauser HSC. I don't know what they're for, honestly. I don't really know. And it really doesn't matter that much to me. But these are both really decent holsters. The leather's in good shape on both of them. This one, the black one, has been modified quite a bit. It had a belt loop put on. It used to have provisions here for a shoulder strap, and that's not there anymore. This strap, I don't believe is original, just because of the way it's attached back here with these. I don't believe that's the original strap. I think it had a different closure method. Not sure what it was. Doesn't matter to me. I'm not a collector. I can do the homework if I know what it's for. I can do the homework. I can get online. I can look up a lot of pictures. I'm a member of several forums where I can find out information. And that's all there is to that. So these two are done. I'm going to move on. I've got a tool chest handle coming up next. And I'll probably show you that because this one's actually, it looks pretty nice. The leather's getting really dry and it's really cracky. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to match the color. I'm going to get it as close as I can though. So stay tuned for that one. In the meantime, stay safe. God bless. Comment, subscribe, like, all that kind of happy stuff. And we'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.